Hello guys, and welcome to episode 8 of my Amir multiplayer series. So, coming in 24 hours after the last episode, just as usual, it's happened. We have got jewelry and metallurgy. So metallurgy is obviously the big one that I was talking about last episode. I spent a lot of time yapping on about how we got all the copper veins and how metallurgy would be so important, and yeah, it is. So, we've now got that, and in fact have access to all the buildings. I have actually come in and already earlier set up a few things, so I'll just go through and explain what I've set up and how that is, affecting our state. Next thing I want to talk about before though is jewelry. So I did one of those little trader missions, so we keep getting bombarded with them, and they're only a thing you get bombarded with in the early part of the game. Once you've got leadership gone, you don't get them again. But it's these missions here, there is actually one here right now. Lose 25 leather clothes for 10 shells. We don't even have 25 leather clothes. So yeah, that one isn't going to happen. So we can't even do that, let's just say no. But I did one, I think it was 35 pottery, which is why we've gone from like 70 to 35, or 10 shells. 10 shells, therefore, is enough that you can research jewelry. And jewelry gives you 10 adornments here. And as we don't consume adornments, because I don't have a sip point in it, adornments here, we get to keep them. And that means, becoming the chieftain, with 10 adornments closer. Now getting those other 10 adornments is going to be really, really tough, but I can try and work on doing these little missions to get the 10 shells, or trade people maybe have shells, or whatever, to get those last 10 adornments. But we're at least halfway there now. That is a shiny stone, jewelry product. Good idea for leadership. No, never mind, that hasn't done anything. So, I wasn't sure if that was going to give us the actual idea for leadership. But no, I think it just means we get the tech to research it like I've already done, which then means we get the mission. So we need to complete the mission still. So, metallurgy, let's talk about what I've done so far. Firstly, I've upgraded all our tool makers. Remember what I said before, the tool makers now only have one person in them. They still produce the exact amount of tools using the exact same amount, just half the amount of people you need, so that has saved us 4 jobs. Doesn't sound like a lot, but every little counts. So that's 4 more people we've got working in different areas. We're now back to, because all our miners are back, we are a little bit under producing flint, but my countryside produces excess flint of I think 4. So actually we overproduce flint as a nation, just underproduce it in our capital. So in fact, I'm going to get another one of these on regular. With hammers, because we do need the hammers. Hoes I'm not as fussed about anymore, because look at this, we've got 84 lettuce producing 1.2 over interstar capital. In our countryside we produce extra. Chickpeas we produce 0.5 over, but in our countryside we produce like 2 extra, so we do have a nice surplus of food. And again, that is still with this minus 0.4, so you can see all our chickpea places are, well, that one isn't actually, but most of them are underperforming, and here, actually that one isn't underperforming anymore, but these ones are, so we are underperforming in food, most of our farms. So that means that then once that tech herbalism is completed, which shouldn't be too long now, next episode it should be completed, that means then we'll be getting even more food in. So other stuff, mud bricks, 40 wood, but we're just not earning any wood in. The reason we're not earning any wood is because I've turned off my javelin makers. We've got 84, so I don't want to waste wood on that. It's because all these pottery workers, they're just using up so much wood. 1.8 wood each. But, coming to my next thing, the metal industry. So, I've already got 4 mines, all mining, and look how big this vein is. I know we're missing a lot of efficiency, because we haven't got barter enabled, we haven't got currency enabled, I can't think of any other nearby tech we'd get, or policies I should say we'd get, but look how much we've still got left. We've probably got 3 mining camps left that we could place down. It's just, well, I didn't have the resources earlier, and now I do, so I'm actually going to get 1 more mining camp down here, and I'm going to set that to high. But we just don't really have the availability of the workers to get more buildings down either, because we look here, yes, we are growing 7 jobless, so that is enough to fill out one of these. Look at our loyalty. 30, it's already on the border. Conflict's going up by another 8. We're already going down by 5 based on our current conflict levels. So technically, I need to get in more units right now. So I'm going to get 15 javelin men right now. Over 10 actually, 10 for now. We've got plenty of forced labour left, so we can afford them, and we've got all the javelins. We'll get 10 in for now, and let's see how that changes our loyalty. We're from 25 to 27, but I'm assuming that's just, it needs a little bit more time to register. Because 2 loyalty for 10 men is not the calculation. I think it's about what I calculated before. I think it's 0.9 or 0.8 loyalty. I think 0.8 loyalty per soldier. So if you get 10 soldiers, I should go up to 8 extra loyalty. So we'll wait and see, but that should be just enough to put us in the green. But we're going to keep getting loads and loads of soldiers, and that is the problem with the gift economy, no leadership. With the big population that we've got, is we just can't handle it. Go back to my other point about the farms. I don't want to get more food really, because actually we're going to just have a problem where we just have too many people. We can't probably maintain them. But saying that, buffalo industry is growing. I've got another butcher up. Well, I've actually got 2. I can't remember if I covered this in the last episode, but I've got 2 butchers up. So we're producing, well, we can't see how much they're producing each. Well, 2.6 they're producing each. So they're actually bringing in a nice supply of leather now. Because before we were only earning about 1.3 leather from our hunters, 1.4 leather. Now we're earning 3.6 leather in total, so we could actually even start thinking about getting these tanneries in. But again, my point is, the tanneries give you better life quality. Yes, that means more culture, brilliant. But it also means more births, which means that it's going to impact our conflict situation. But it's not an issue at all, because if we get more births and we get more conflicts, even if we have to put every single new worker that we get into the military to upkeep the town, we're still better, aren't we? We've got a bigger military, we can do more, we're more defensive, even though they're going to attack us, we're more defensive, we've got more score, so it's not an issue to grow. It just means that they're not really doing economic value, they're just doing political value of being an army. But yeah, so we could go into tannery, but I want to save up to get 30 leather, because smoking hides is the next one I want. This means we get upgraded tanneries. I was about to say leather workers, but tannery clove makers, which makes the tanneries actually a bit more useful, because currently these tanneries are. I'm noticing all these buildings are costing 1 coin to be inactive. So, yeah. The upkeep of building upkeep 19. I kind of forgot that was a feature. Yeah, if you have a building on inactive, it actually ups the. Okay, I didn't know that. Not that's an issue anyway, because we're already at 10 forced labour. We can't lower this number anymore. But something to know for the future, that if you build buildings, and you only set them to inactive if they're even filling up or low, you don't want them to work. Well, actually, I'm going to put that one to low so we have a little bit more. Yeah, we could start making leather clothes, but yeah, I want to wait till we get enough leather. In the meantime, what can we do with this hammer and leathers? We can build some more large houses. We've got plenty of mud, plenty of wood, and that will increase our life quality. That will also then mean we're 1 house off getting the 25, because I've built these nice big houses here. We're only 1 house off. What I want to start doing is increasing the amount of copper we produce, because remember, whether you're new to EMEA or you're an experienced player, if you're new to EMEA, you may not know, but we're currently in the gift economy. Gift economy means everything we produce, we own. Everything we produce, we also provide. So that makes much sense. But let's say we produce 16 lettuce here in our territory. As well, not really in terms of the game, we're not really the leader at this point, because we're in a banned society. But let's assume we are the leader. Everything produced by our people we own. We also have no choice whether we give it out and supply to them or not. So we produce 16 lettuce, we own all of it, but we have no choice that we give out 14 to fulfill the need. However, when you switch to bartering, you're going to have more of a not traditional, but a more of a real life economy. Again, not even real life, because this was how tribes acted back in prehistoric times, but you have an economy that functions on bartering and trade and all of that, so you actually have to buy goods. So if we can produce as many axes as possible in this gift economy phase, That means we're not having to pay for any of them. We just instantly own them. It hasn't cost us a penny. We don't pay any of this forced labour value to buy these axes, or these hoes, or these hammers, or this wood, whatever. So we want to try and produce as many axes as possible now, so that we have to spend less money when we do switch to barterings. And bartering's a little bit off. But it's gonna come sooner than expected. And because we only have these level 1 foundries, which, god, they're trash. Like, look at this, 3 workers, and we produce 0.5 copper. That is really, really terrible. They're really bad. But that doesn't mean we can't produce axes. So now I can actually set maybe some of even these to axes. How many do they produce? So yeah, so basically one blacksmith uses up more axes than we actually produce from one of these. So if we have 3 foundries running, we can just about maintain 2 axes. 3 foundries, because we need 1.6 copper, and we're producing 1.5. So that's what I want to aim for. I have 3 foundries, and the foundry uses up 0.8. And we can see here we're producing 4. So actually, I can cut back on the mining. Actually quite a lot. Like, we haven't even got... These buildings aren't even full. Like, these 2 are full. This one doesn't even equal a 3rd one full. So we've got under 3 buildings full, and we already produce enough ore that... Yeah, that is actually... So until we get the level 2 foundries, which isn't for maybe a week or 2, we actually need to dedicate so many jobs to copper smelting, otherwise we're not going to really produce anything. Also, wood. 1.6 wood we use up to make this very small amount of copper. 1.6 wood. Yeah, we only produced 11.6 wood in total, and we already use up so much of that wood you can see here. 1.8 for each pottery worker. So, barely have any wood to play around with. So, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. Copper industry, while you're still in this gift economy early tech phase, is tough. It's because you really have to put so many workers into it. Like, again, 6 workers per thing to produce... We got this one. 6 workers per thing to produce 1.4 copper is so bad. And yeah, 3 workers here to produce 0.5 copper ingots is just... Yeah, it's tough. But, again, we're in a situation where before, we don't now... But actually, no, we have 2 here. So why the hell are they working here? Why the hell are they working here when I've got them on regular and I've got guys on high? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we did have people just working in useless jobs, not useless, but very, very irrelevant jobs like mud mining. So yeah, it's not like it's impacting our economy in a negative way to have all these miners, but it does just mean that, you know, we're using up a lot of our economy to focus on this. But that's what we need to do, because if we can get even, let's say, 20 axes before we hit bartering, and if you assume each axe, I know each axe usually costs, I think, around, I can't remember the exact, I think it's about 17, 18 coins. So let's say each axe costs 20 coins with like waste as well, because remember we have to pay waste. So 20 times 20 would be what, 400? Have I got the maths right there? 400 coins? So 400 coins in the very early game of bartering is big, because whenever I've been in the very early stage of bartering, if you've even watched my previous series, you know you're only just balancing your books in the budget balance. You can see here we produce 61 forced labour, and already we're only balancing it at 8. So yes, we could up this, but it's tough in that early game. So if we can even just save 400 coins, it's a nice save. But enough about that. We've got the copper sword. We've got our mine set up. We're starting to smelt it. I'm going to introduce more smelters. The miners I can actually tone back a bit, because I don't really care too much about storing lots of copper ore. I'd rather get the copper ingots now and more axes now, and then have less stored copper ore, if that makes sense. I'd rather take away a few of these jobs so we just break even on copper ore, but produce more copper here, which I can then put straight into axes. But we'll sort of that when we get those new industries. So what else can we do? Well, the buffalo industry, like I said before, we're at 0.8 buffaloes now. Oh yeah, also civ points. I have put 1 civ point, well technically 2, but yeah, one little point here in copper ore, and then I think that's what I'll leave it at, because I'd rather put the other civ points into copper ingots, because copper ore, and this is a big debate I've been having with myself, is do you put the civ points into copper ore or copper ingots? Copper ore means each worker produces more, you get 20% efficiency, and then each little tile here that your copper people mine, gives you plus 5% more material. So if you've got lots and lots and lots of copper veins, that might save you, if you even have 20% efficiency, that might save you 12 jobs, 13 jobs, 14 jobs, whatever, which is a lot. And we do have quite a lot of miners. Where it's also really good is if you have a countryside. Remember, a countryside limited by 4 buildings that can produce anything useful, not water. If we've got a small plot of copper there, and we want to put 3 mines on it and then 1 farm, those 3 mines might not actually cover all the copper. So if we have the extra sit point in it, they're 20% more effective, so they can mine 20% more. So we're actually getting more use out of the copper on our countrysides. On the capital, I could place down 12 mining camps to get all this copper. It's a lot of jobs, but if I really want this copper, I can place 12 mining camps. But if this was on a countryside, and I could only place 3 buildings, it's going to be a lot of unused copper, which if you get more efficiency, we'll use more of it up, plus we get that 5%. So that's why going into sit point copper is good, but copper ingot sit points mean you get that 20% efficiency, so your workers do more, so you need less workers. It's not really about the workers or the copper, because you only really ever have maybe 9, 12 workers on copper, where already we've got 18, we've actually got 21 workers on ore. So you can see we've got all the workers are a lot more meaningful. Copper, you never really have more than 12 or 15 workers in total, let alone in all your countrysides and everything. But look at the materials that you need for copper. You need copper ore, so you use 5% less copper ore. That saves you copper. Brilliant. You can sell it, or you can have less workers if you need. If you wood as well. We're already saying we're struggling for wood, so saving wood would be really, really useful. You don't have to buy as much in. Or maybe we'll even find that wood's our limiting factor in the later turns, not turns, but later on. We'll find maybe we just have to produce enough wood to make enough copper. So 5% less wood means we'll be able to produce a little bit more copper. But later on, when we go from wood to charcoal, you can see charcoal's down here. Charcoal needs clay and wood and jobs. So you can see the economic, what's the word? The trail that it impacts. Because now if we're using charcoal, that means we need more clay. That means we need more workers who produce charcoal. So by saving that 5% on charcoal and copper ore, we're then maybe even saving more money. I'm not sure I'm rambling on a little bit, but it is interesting to think, where do you sign your civ points? To copper ore, or to copper, or to buffaloes? Do you sign the civ points into buffaloes, where you get more out of the fields, or do you sign your civ points into meat or leather, where I can find it, meat or leather? And maybe you save jobs on butchering and you get more out of the buffalo. It's like, one of those things to me which I actually haven't fully decided on myself. I've got a pretty good understanding of it, but I haven't really decided which one is always the right call. Anyway, enough about that. I think that's it, to be honest. I've got this new mission, the Copper Age, so we can get 2 extra civ points, which would be useful to get just to speed things up. Which actually, I think I'm going to use. I think I'm going to get copper, improve copper, 20% more efficiency, 5% more materials, because we do need the copper, and just saving on wood and copper ore now is useful. So that's taken us from 0.5 to 0.6. And you can actually see that we're using more wood and more copper ore than before, but because we're using less materials, it's more efficient. So yeah, we'll get that, and that hasn't really made any difference at the moment. We're using 0.1 more. But once we get multiple foundries, it'll make a little difference. When we upgrade them to level 2, it'll make quite a big difference. The reason I just done that is because if we start producing 1 axe, and then we get another copper, which we can get done in like 15 minutes, not 4 minutes when this is done, we get another 2 civ points, so I didn't have 2 more spare. And this is what I'm thinking, do I again invest the civ points into copper ore or copper ingots? Because I'm thinking if we go to copper ore, this is then that other 20% efficiency, it means we need a lot less jobs. Also, my point is, foundry workers, the amount of foundry workers we'll need to even utilise all this copper. Like, we're already producing 4 copper over. And that's without even fully utilising all our mining camps and everything. So it's a tricky one, but that's something I'll think about on another day. So I'm going to end that episode there. That is the start of metallurgy. So what have we talked about? We talked about what we've done with the metallurgy new tech, which is getting these upgraded tool makers, starting our mining camps, starting a bit of smelting, Yeah, that is done with that. Then we've got the jewelry. Jewelry tech unlocked. Herbalism's on the way. We could go for mud bricks now, but again, I don't need them right now, and it's just 40 wood that I'll use up, which I might need for other stuff, so I'm not gonna go for that. Now we have got that ready, we've got the Copper Age mission, which we're very close to completing. We can get that done in maybe 5 minutes. That's 2 civ points. And becoming the chieftain, we're close. The one house I can literally do right now, the army I can do right now, it is still just the 20 adornments that we need, but we've got 10. So we've just a few more, maybe few more trades or a few more of those little missions at the top. We can hopefully get those 10 adornments and we'll be ready. So yeah guys, thanks a lot for watching that video. If you've liked it, leave it a like. If you enjoyed the series, subscribe. And come join the Discord. Link is in the description. Come say hi. Love to chat with you and hear your feedback on the videos. So thanks a lot guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Ta-ra.